All the best, guys.
Yep.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ranu Parwal once again on a Saturday morning with you all for our webinar series that we've been doing for last 2-3 years, and we've been trying to be bringing in a lot of new topics continuously, which are relevant as per the industry and the market conditions. The placement season all over the country is on, and it's across the country. I'm sure there are some very positive reports reported around placements, the sectors that are hiring, and at the same time, there are reports where even the largest campuses from across the country are trying to figure out ways to reach out to as many corporates, including the premium campuses or the various other tiered campuses, the way we classify it within the corporate domain. I'm very happy to have all the speakers and the audiences here with us. Well, in interest of time, because we are running a bit late to start, I'll have a quick introduction. But just to give you a perspective, India has got close to 39,000 colleges across the country, which includes, and today that model has changed where a lot of universities are taking up, where a lot of universities have come in. There were very few universities just 10 years back, and today India has close to 1,250 universities, and which in turn converts into 39,000 plus colleges across the country. Across the country, there are colleges getting shut down continuously, while a very few colleges have been much growing further. And the major reason is lack of right jobs into the campuses. They're not able to provide the opportunities. The topic for the day, which we found, and there is on the other side, there are corporates looking out for candidates continuously and across the country with the smart city concept, the way the smaller towns, the B and C category towns of the countries are growing. There are a lot of job opportunities coming up, but at the same time, it's very difficult for corporates to reach out to all the small campuses across the country. Skills Connect, our platform, tries connecting or builds an ecosystem which connects close to 13,000 colleges, which is almost 32% of the colleges of the country onto the platform, and helps corporates hire and engage digitally with them across the country. I have my team members whom I would like to introduce. I've got my chief mentor, Mr. Nilkantan, who's been ex Reliance Retail Strategy Head, heading that portfolio for the last 7 years till it became the second largest retail chain in the world. I've got my good morning, Nilkantan sir, and good to have you here. I have another speaker while Nilkantan sir, I think, good morning. I have my other team members. I have Sunil Kabra from Ace Human Capital Limited, which is into gig economy. And we have a team of close to 3,500 people in that particular in the contractual staffing arm. Good morning, Sunil.
Good morning, everyone.
And I've got Vicky Jain from Unova, who's the youngest in our team and runs one of the smartest HRMS in the country with very large clients like Delivery, Indus Towers, few banking banks, financial institutions, a few Tata Group and Mahindra Group companies as well on the portfolio. Good morning, Vicky.
Good morning, Ranu. Good morning, everyone.
Good. And I have my team members, Tushar and Abhay, Praveen as well, supporting us in the entire initiative to make it happen. I will quickly introduce my speakers and I'll also introduce the topic. How technology can help corporates reach students from the smaller cities. As I said, we've got a lot of talent. There are opportunities in smaller cities also coming up. And yes, it's the technology which is coming up with the solutions to connect this entire ecosystem at one place. We have our speakers in terms of seniority. I'll just get introduced each one in terms of years of vintage or experience. I've got Mr. Ramchandra Madela, who's the head of HR at Dhanush Group. He's also worked in various other in various other groups like Reliance and various other corporate domains. I'll have a quick introduction. Good morning, Mr. Ramachandra.
Good morning. Good morning.
He's a veteran in the domain in which, in the HR domain, and a name in the southern part of India, mentoring a lot of HR folks as well, apart from taking up an important role in the industry. I've got Ritesh Advani, Vice President HR at Golden Source. Good morning, Ritesh.
Hi, morning.
Hi. I've got Shilpa Pai. She's the Vice President at 3i Infotech Limited, a company which is trying to take a plunge into the industry and taking it to the next level. And Shilpa is at the helm of making that portfolio happen. Good morning,
Hey, hi,
Shilpa.
good morning. Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. Pleasure to be on this platform, and especially something, campus to corporate, which is very close to my heart and my passion. So
Good morning.
pleasure to be here.
I've got Sumit Mukherjee from one of the large recruiters in the country from HDFC Ergo General Insurance. Hi, Sumit. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Hi, good morning, everybody.
And I've got Sashikala. She's the HR leader, and she's about to take up a new role very soon in the corporate world. She's been in the HR industry for quite long, for more than a decade, and she's been anchored to a couple of early stage ventures as well in her earlier roles. Good morning, Sashikala.
Good morning, Ranu. Thanks a lot for having me here. Looking forward for the session. Thank you.
Perfect. I'll hand it over to Nilkantan sir, and over to you, Nilkantan sir.
Thank you so much, Ranu, for the introduction, and thank you, the panel members. Very experienced, very rich, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of information sharing, and we're going to have a lot of things that are going to be discussed here, which can be a good takeaway for all. It's an esteemed panel, so I just wanted to ensure that we have good thought process that are being shared and discussed. So let's start with the context of this particular program and webinar. What the webinar is all about, as Shilpa already had mentioned, and Ms. Shashikala has also mentioned about it. This is a very important topic where we're going to have discuss about the talent pipeline that can be developed in tier 2, tier 3, and other cities, and how can technology help this happen. So when we're talking about the various stakeholders, the stakeholders are primarily the corporates who are seeking out for candidates and the campuses at tier 2 and tier 3 cities where they want to reach out to corporates and ensure that they get their students placed. But at the middle of the entire thing, or at the focus of the entire thing, is the candidates themselves, and they also need to be taken care of in terms of developing them, developing their skill sets, and getting them job ready for future jobs. So that is the whole context that we are talking about, and we have this esteemed panel. In some way or the other, each one of them has contributed in this particular field of HR, recruitment, and kind of stuff. So we will hear them more as we go along. So thank you, the panel members, for being here. So let's have a quick discussion around this. So I will ask you a few questions, preferably addressed to a particular speaker. And then if anybody else has got a point of view, they can also share it. And at the end of the session, maybe after about 40 minutes or so, we will leave it open for question answers from the participants so that we understand the whole perspective and give them what we can share with them all about. Yeah. Okay. So the most important question that comes up to the mind is in terms of saying that, okay, we've all been on the corporate side, we've all been working in organizations, looking at campus recruitments in a big way. And now with a lot of mixed news coming in, saying that many colleges have not placed people, they've not been able to do it. And many corporates still find that there are very many positions where they're not able to fill up candidates. And there's a whole issues around it. So my question, let me start with Shilpa, madam. Do you think the corporates recognize that there is a talent in smaller cities? So what do you feel
Yes.
about it?
Yeah, so definitely. So while coming about, like, the technologies, reaching of the student in the smaller cities. So just to add that, the post pandemic impact, it has increased the technology adoption even in the smaller cities. So with the advent of the technologies, I mean, there has been a decrease in the educational gap, especially in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So I still remember when things went virtual overnight, when the pandemic hit. So many of the professionals from the tier 1 cities who moved back to their homes, back to their their villages and homes, and where they work from their hometowns, giving the hope to those who must be aspiring to be in this in this professional in these big time corporates. So this empowering the tier 1 and tier 2 cities people with the right skills is an real time investment for the future. So it's an investment in the collective progress of the society.
Yeah.
So by
Okay.
addressing this, yeah, so by addressing this challenge collectively, I mean, these regions can be transformed into a vibrant hubs of talent and innovation, contributing significantly to the nation's growth story.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I believe in. And in fact, I mean, I personally, I mean, we have, yeah. So today, I mean, if you actually go to see, is a 3i Infotech, our almost around like 60% of the, openings for the new talent, we go only to tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
basically, yeah. So basically, when during this pandemic, when our staff actually started moving down to their, the hometown, that's when we started realizing that there is a lot of potential in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So
Yeah.
that's where we
Okay.
started actually, yeah. So we actually tied up with with a partner like partners like Skill Connect, and that is where we were able to fill the gap.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a very interesting perspective. Actually, you need partners. Corporates will look out for partners, and I think Skill Connect can actually plug in those gaps and maybe give a facilitate something like that. Yes, I do. Thank you so much for that early comments. So, Mr. Ramchandar, you have been
Yeah,
practicing. You have been practicing.
exactly.
You've been coaching. You've been guiding students. You've been doing several things. So, what is your
Yeah.
take? Does corporate really recognize that there is talent there and they want to reach out to those colleges, or what is it that they're looking at?
Yeah, thank you, Neelakantanji. And the corporates, maybe 10, 15 years back, they were not thinking big about, unless otherwise, they're the primitive talent, means like workers and all those things to think about smaller cities. But today, if you see the skills and competency level, maybe the soft skills, only the communication skills and English and other things may be the low, but from smaller cities, you will get the best talent that's possible. Why I am want to say this is a lot of resilience will be there. They undergo a lot of tough challenges while they are educating. They actually can embrace a lot of challenges when they come to job, and they are flexible and adaptable. So that's where the last 10 years most of the corporates, they are going to two-tier cities, three-tier cities, and they are trying to uh, doing the training. Second year onwards only they started training.
Okay.
So maybe, for example, I wanted some Java full stack or electronics engineers, civil engineer. For example, in my case, I worked with a company called Nagarjuna Construction Company and IVRCL. I used to go to, so there is a many colleges available in and of Hyderabad. But when I want to take those students, their student was not ready to work in remote locations where my civil projects used to happen.
Okay.
So I used to go to the Srikakulam. I used to go to the
The
corners
locations
of the
nearby. Yeah.
locations, very very no, not nearby. I used to go to the remote locations in
Okay.
smaller cities. I used to pick up the students. I used to train them 1 year in advance, and I used to onboard them while my projects is once we got it, and they used to sustain.
Okay. Okay. That's
Otherwise,
a
otherwise, my attrition rate used to be around 30-40%. When I
yes.
started taking this, that has reduced to 5%.
Correct. So
So
this is a
definitely
very
it's going.
yeah, this is a very interesting subject. I think we will deal more in detail about it because there's a brilliant experience that you can share and also help the new college students and kind of stuff to understand what is the corporates required. So thank you so much. It's very important that we deal with it more in a detailed manner. That's true. Thank you so much for your opening comments. So Ritesh, you being a corporate in the HR side, what has been your experience? What do you think? Would you be in a would you actually focus your thoughts on tier 2, tier 3 cities and maybe look at it? What is your view on that? What is your take on that, Ritesh?
Sure. I think, thank you for asking me that question. I think what has happened in last 5 years that I highlight usually is talent has become untethered, right? They don't need geography. They don't need uh, any kind of bond to hold them back. They are more open to ideas. They are more open to peer learning. They are more in the sharing culture. They want a purpose in life. They're not focused that they want to live in larger cities and have the right kind of work-life balance and so on and so forth. And I think being in IT industry, the industry has recognized that fast, given the decentralization and the remote work trends that we saw during the pandemic and other than the pandemic, right? So there were definitely success stories and case studies that were coming out of it, that how IT and other industries were coping up. Now that we are past pandemic, a lot of organizations and a lot of sectors have come back to uh, working back to office. I think it is only IT and some BFSI sections that are still holding on to a hybrid model, right? That's where I think it drives and understands the crux that talent from the smaller cities is able to build the same kind of talent infrastructure, if I may call it, versus only sticking to the hubs of IT, as they used to call it, right? A big example is if you go and see today how Gift City has come up, right? And how the infrastructure is developed with the large IT honkos there, or be it upcoming cities like the Indore or Jaipur, or people coming up from the smaller cities and trying to be able to do more and more. Also, if you see parallelly, there has been an expansion of educational infrastructure there, and people in corporates are able to see more cost effectiveness coming in. There are efforts from partners like you, where they see an increased digital penetration, and also there are efforts from the government side of things. So I think if you put all this together, there is definitely a head
All
front there.
right. Okay. Thank you so much. That is an interesting thing. There is a scope for a lot of work to happen in this sector. Lot of potential there, and a lot of things that can be done. Thank you so much, Ritesh, for that comment.
Sure.
So, okay, now I would like Ms. Shashikala to respond. You being part of this HR fraternity, and you've also been doing campus recruitments, doing things. So, what do you see as the talent available there? Because when during my career, like what Mr. Ramchandra also mentioned, to execute projects in a particular area which is remote, we go to remote cities to hire people because somewhere the blend of culture, the blend of attitudes, all that max. I mean, all that meet, and then we are able to do it properly. So do you agree to that, or do you have a view, or do you think it is the right approach, or do you think we need to have cross-functional, fungible talent across, or what is your view? So I just wanted to understand from you
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that part. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for that question. Undoubtedly and increasingly, I have seen that corporates have looked at the potential talent from the smaller cities. Every CHRO, every leader that I am meeting, every second person is talking about the hiring from the smaller cities, understanding that geographical, location does not define the talent, caliber of the talent, especially as an individual, right? So what approach we have taken in my experience, I would like to bring here to this platform is, I go back to a real story during 2019-20, where I was working as a talent acquisition head for a growing company. Our lens were closed. As a talent acquisition head, when we looked at the data from Naukri or LinkedIn, the hiring platforms, even we sitting on the top of the position, our focus, our lens were closed to only metro cities, right? It so happened when I was hiring for one of the very niche technology into Salesforce, which I would like to bring to this platform here today, is we were not able to hire the way we wanted. We could not fill the positions. Then I got into the action, and when I looked at the heat map from the Naukri, I was surprised to see that the talent that I was looking at, we could never look at a place called Lucknow, right? It was never on our radar. Then I realized that we have Salesforce folks at Lucknow, and our recruitment team never looked at that side of it. That gave a trigger to me. And then we deep dive into the data. We could really hire people from Lucknow, and not only from Lucknow, but other cities like Raipur, Nagpur. I looked at Indore, Pune, Ahmedabad, of course. And then this is how the real hiring happened. And that gave us a real experience that, hey, our focus has
Wonderful.
to
Yeah.
shift. I think what approach I would like to take here while hiring from smaller cities is I have depended on the localized training and development centers, right? I would rather go to a training center locally and ask them, hey, can you build this skill for me for my organization? This is one of the approach I have looked at.
Absolutely.
And then virtual, while doing this, we sitting in this in cities like Hyderabad or Mumbai or whatever is the metro city, how do we reach out to them? I would like to take this approach called virtual internships or small POC, small projects given to the students. Right today, we are talking about agile while, right? Then and there, like instant coffee, instant talent, right? Now, how do we bring them by giving them smaller POC, smaller projects, virtual internships? I think that is a smart way to look
Yeah.
at it. Undoubtedly, digital skill development is catching up, which will also enable us to bring inclusive recruitment practices, right? We talk
Okay.
about diversity, inclusion. I
Very
think there are
nice.
a lot
Yeah.
of success stories. I have done it myself. If you look at bigger companies like TCS, Infosys, they already have their rural BPO setups, BPO training centers. I think that should be the approach going forward for all of us.
Absolutely. Yes. Good. So this is exactly what Dr. Prasad Kushini is also asked about. So I would like to mention a particular thing, and then I would ask Mr. Sumit Mukherjee to respond to it because he's done a lot of work in this area. You know, while the students in the rural areas are good, conceptual knowledge is good, they're academically good, they've got the right, uh, understanding of the concepts and kind of stuff, but they lack some kind of a, I mean, they perceived, I wouldn't say they lack, but they, I mean, it is perceived that they are poor in their presentation or communication skills and kind of stuff. So, well, while Skills Connect is trying to develop a kind of a ecosystem where we can look at developing talent, we would like to embark on that journey along with the college principals and the placement officer in helping them get ready, to get the students ready for jobs. While we're going to do that in a big way, we would request all of you to contribute as much as possible with your experience and wisdom. So, Mr. Sumit, with that question, how would you respond to the understanding of these people's skills, of the students' skills, and how do you think we should be able to moderate their skills and develop them?
Right. So thank you for that question, Nilkant. And I think what is important to understand is that while it's very true that the skill levels may be pretty much there across the various tiers of the cities which are there. However, sometimes presentability or the presentation per se may not be quite up to the mark. Uh, Communication skills can be a bit of a challenge. Not so much in the tier two cities because where I have generally seen they're pretty much at par with the tier one, and sometimes tier one can also be terrible, so it's not really limited to that. But it's the exposure that the people get really. The kind of exposure that the more the exposure that people have to the corporate world, the better will be their ability to communicate, their ability to present facts, their ability to you know get their message across. The idea should be to groom people in the right direction. I think when you say that Skills Connect is working on that, that's a very important aspect of it. I think it is something which is going to really address one of the concerns which we would normally have. Being from the BFSI sector, and having worked in the BFSI sector for close to 2 decades now, it's been my observation that because we have a large spread across the country, hence it is easier for us to recruit people across various cities, be it tier two, three, four, and it is the requirement for talent for us across those cities is definitely higher. And a lot of times, the skill sets that we look for um, do not necessarily need a lot of presentation or presentation skills per se.
Well said.
However,
Well said.
communication skills will always be
Well
important.
said. Well said. That's the whole idea. I mean, I actually like what. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you
No.
can complete it. Yeah, it's a very well said point. Yeah.
So it is really about the role for which we are hiring the people. And once a person gets exposure into a corporate world, he or she, if is interested, will
World
pick it
opens
up,
up.
will pick it up and run with it. I have seen
Absolutely.
people who have come from vernacular, backgrounds completely, never been really exposed to English as a language, pick it up and run with it, and reach really high levels in the corporate world. I mean, it's really the application that the person goes through.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful point that you said. And over to Mr. Ramchandar, because, and also, I would request everybody else also to chip in here. The idea is, the students there feel that, I mean, I don't know. It could be also possible that they're having a complex in terms of saying that how do I compete with people in the tier one and tier two cities or bigger colleges or kind of stuff. Mr. Ramchandra was saying there are jobs available for in very remote because there is infrastructure projects happening. There are multiple telecom projects happening, multiple CSR, energy, lot of things opening up, and students have an opportunity to get these kind of jobs that are available. While Mr. Sumit did mention that it is not essential that the person should be able to communicate in a particular language or in English or be able to present, but they need to build up their attitude. So having done that part for a year before you induct them onto the board, can you just throw some light on how did you manage to do it? Maybe Ranu, you need to take points from here so that you will be able to look at talent building or talent pipeline building in the colleges going forward. Yeah, that'll be an interesting take. So let's hear from Mr. Ramchandar, and I
Right.
would request everybody else also to contribute. So we will do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, this one, Nilakandanji. We have actually, now presently I'm working with a company called Danish Group. Danish Group is into IT and IT enabled healthcare services. So we do, actually, for example, we are working on Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission, where we have a product development, and our target is to make 140 crores against to bring on the electronic health records. And but at the same time, we also do the healthcare delivery for public health projects on the ground in more than 10 states. So there, my talent, I require talent more of the, from second and smaller cities only, and they are affordable. They are actually very quick, and they are, if you are able to train them, they are actually able to deliver the healthcare services to the rural and smaller cities also. So
Yeah.
1 year before we plan what are the projects are in pipeline for product development as well as the public health service delivery. What we do is we go to campuses. We actually use a lot of segmentation, talent segmentation we do. So based on that, we are actually going to recruit. So for IT, we take BTech and this one. And because why we wanted is we don't want to take people who just want to join the job. Those who need the job, we will take.
Yeah.
Our criteria to take the people is those who need. Because for smaller cities, the people actually ready to do hard work. They are actually like having attitude to work 70 hours like of Mr. Narayanamurthy. So I will work, I will prove myself, this kind of thing. This is not possible with the city students, and even so they actually expect 9 to 5, but they expect 3 times, 4 times salary, which is not possible for me to pay. And their productivity, I don't know. Maybe for managerial positions, you can take those people, but for definitely for product development and on the ground remote level service delivery, healthcare delivery, I
Yeah.
required, and I'm looking forward your technology also that can help
Absolutely.
us a lot.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's encouraging. That's encouraging for us. Yes. Okay. Shilpa madam.
Yeah,
Now, okay,
yeah.
connect this to whatever you shared some time back. And also there is a question that has been asked here. And there's a separate question to Mr. Ramchandar, which I think all of us can address again. What do you think are the potential barriers to help these people develop? What do you think, and what do you think they should do? What do the colleges do? What do the corporates do? What can the candidates do? So maybe
Yeah.
some.
So in this case, in fact, I would really like to share after hearing Shashikala and Sumit. I think everybody has given a great example. I mean, the great thought process. But I would like to give a real-time example from my own organization.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about like tier two, tier three, three colleges, so we, as I said, that during the virtual overnight, everything went virtual and people moved into their own hometown. So then, but yeah, so we realized that the people who are coming from those remote places, and they were one of the best talent. And we unnecessarily go to these big colleges. I don't like to mention the tier big colleges names, but yeah. So that's wherein somebody mentioned to me that there is a place called Tirunelveli, and I didn't even know. I never heard of the place, and I didn't even know how it spells. So they said there's a place called Tirunelveli, and it is one of the biggest education hub, and there are a
Absolutely.
lot of
Yes.
people. Yeah, and there are a lot of people, and there are a lot of untapped potential. There are a lot of good colleges, but in fact, and no, and they're not getting the opportunity. So I
Absolutely.
just, yeah, so I went, I did a lot of research. I heard about this Zoho model, Mr. Wimbu, how he went to these cities, and he created the talent pool. So I think from that example, we decided to go to Tirunelveli. So we looked out for partners. We tied up with we went to we tied up, we got the names of all the colleges, and we started, so I said, now before going for the campus hires, so we created a proper online technology platform where people go apply, and we received a lot of applications, and all the colleges are very excited. The
Yeah.
uh, Tria Infotech. So this itself helped us creating a brand in
Aura around it. Yeah.
this area.
That's
Yeah.
nice. That's nice. That's
So
nice.
yeah, and there are three things what I have realized. So when we went to, when we actually went to this three T cities, the first problem that we were able to address was the attrition. The talent from the tier two to tier three cities is in much lower than the top tier one colleges.
Absolutely.
Secondly, secondly, the value proposition, the ability of an organization to get the day zero slot is much higher in the tier three cities. The
Absolutely.
thirdly,
So it is more of a, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah,
Third.
yeah, and thirdly, in this geographical proximity of the organization presence, it actually helped us in building our brand in that region. And also, I think the attitude and the behavior of the people is amazing. So I'll give you an
Absolutely.
example. So when we went for so we had given them the aptitude test. Nobody could pass our aptitude test, so we
Hmm.
raised down the bar to 60%, 40%, and then we said somehow we have to go and meet this. So then I got to know that the barrier was the language. So though they were
Okay.
all doing their engineering, so they had a great conceptually, they all knew what was AI, ML. They were good in technology, but somehow they couldn't communicate. So
Yes.
in the first round, we decided to reject everyone. Then I said, "There's something what we are doing wrong." So
So
we called somebody who could speak in Tamil, and we got them. And then I think, yeah. So today, I think I take a great pride. We hired 100 people in that region. My CEO told me, Shilpa, I think you're doing a great job, but we need an ROI.
I know.
And I created a theme called Tirunelveli to Texas.
Yeah.
And today I take a great, yeah. So today I take a great pride that 80% of the people in the region are billable. In last 3 years, none of them has left the organization, as we see in the
Brilliant.
tier one colleges, and there are around 10% of the people who has got an on-site opportunity,
Okay,
and
that's a brilliant thing to say. I mean, some ROI, some metrics, some around it, so which will help corporates also understand. Yeah.
yes,
Yes. Yes.
and we invested. So the only investment, see, we did not give them a great salary, but they were happy to see whatever salary we have given them. It actually helped. In fact, our cost was almost around 60% lower than what it could have been in tier one colleges,
Okay.
tier one cities.
Okay. So
In
good.
spite of
Thank
giving
you.
them food transportation, we were still able to maintain the cost. And in spite of that, the training that we have invested, I think people are still there with us. So
Yes.
I think, yeah,
Yes.
this is the beauty about going to, tier 2 and tier 3 colleges.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, just quick word from Mr. Shashikala, Ritesh, and Sumit on this. So, the whole idea is to ensure that, yes, technology. Just to keep you all informed, Skills Connect is in the area of this particular hiring space, and also trying to develop students, develop the engagement process. So, skillsconnect.in is the place to connect. We have, I mean, like what Ranu said, we have close to about 13,000 colleges in our platform, and we are also looking at a lot of corporates to be associated with us, and we are trying to help the colleges reach out to corporates and do it. So that is the couple of questions that have come up, so I just thought I'll just share that with you guys. And Mr. Sunil and Ranu can also share at the end what in quickly what we are trying to do. So with the same question, Ms. Shashikala.
Yeah. Another very good question close to my heart. What we have done, again, I will relate to it with a real-time example. As a corporate leader from IT, I'm relating to IT industry here. We are definitely looking at blended learning models, right? Blended learning models for online platforms like Skills Connect for the students. And then one more thing which is much talked today in the industry is focused skill-based hiring. I'm sure all my colleagues would agree for this, right? You have your typical degrees over there, but again, skill-based. We are definitely looking at this skill-based hiring. I think students, what they should look forward to for the universities is they have to look at the curriculum that are more aligned with the practical, training, which is based on the competencies, right? This is what we are definitely looking at this point of time from the universities. I have gone to a college in Kurnool, which is again a tier 3 city. This is way back in again 2020. That was first campus hiring after COVID. We have gone with my team, and then we have taken a offline approach because we realized that they may not be equipped with the online tool, and we have gone completely offline. I will take another example which would be interested to our audience here, the students. We did the campus recruitment for mechanical, chemical, and then computer science, right? Complete offline. During the post lunch, we had an assessment session. And then when I got the answers, and then we had our panel to do the evaluation, I have seen one odd man out in the whole campus. Now, what is that odd man? See the intelligence that the student is bringing, right? He is a mechanical graduate from the college. And then while every student has taken blue pen to write the questions, right? He has taken a red ball pen to address his, answers. Then that got my interest. I said, what is this? Why he has chosen red? None of them has taken the red pen, right? Out of my curiosity, I have asked my team to call that candidate. Every student was waiting for us to declare the results, right? I called him. He's a mechanical graduate. I don't remember the name, but I still remember I'm talking about him after 4 years today in this call, right? Now, when I asked him, I had a basic questions and I asked, why did you take the red pen? Do you, it's out of interest or what is that? Then he said, madam, if I take the black or blue pen, unlike others, you will not call me today. Just because I have taken that red pen, right? You got some curiosity and I wanted to be that odd man out to be in front of you. See, it's a different thing whether I hired him or not, but the kind of curiosity, the kind of approach that he's trying to, show to leaders like us, I personally like the approach. I think that is what I would like to bring here. Definitely a lot of focus on skill-based hiring. Definitely soft skills development is something we are looking at. Skills like leadership, emotional intelligence is again one more thing which is important for the students. I think these are certain things that the universities and then students should look forward to, while corporates are looking forward for a industry-based academic collaboration with all the universities. Hope that answers your question, right?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Sir,
Over to you.
Neelakantalji, you are actually on mute.
Neelkan, yeah, you're on mute.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. Thanks. So since Sumit started, so I would like him to conclude it maybe in a short while after we hear from Ritesh. So over to Ritesh. So tell me, there are two, three things that we have been asked about. One is how technology how students need to improve their attitude, how do they need to do it. So can we just hear some inputs from you on that particular front?
Right. So I think piggybacking on the wisdom of all my colleagues here, I think they've really highlighted great points in terms of what corporates are doing. I think we are not doing anything different beyond that, and we are also doing similar areas to look at, right? But I'll take a little bit of paradigm shift here, and I would say, I mean, I rather believe that it's a two-way street, right? Let's look at it from the student's perspective as well. How can we use technology to ensure that it is a two-way contract that we are looking at? Because stickiness of employees or being giving them confidence to be able to join your organization and trusting your employer brand is definitely an important area as well. You might hire 100 people from XYZ campus in a tier 2, tier 3, tier 1 city, but to ensure that they join and they stay on with you and grow with you is something that is very important as well, right? Uh, when I talk to students and my new joiners, what I realize is there are a lot of gaps as well today in terms of bridging the infrastructure and for them to know what will happen when I move to Mumbai or when I move to Bangalore or when I move to this prime city, and how do I, sitting in my own city, ensure that I at least cover up 50 to 60% of these challenges and you know take up or at least bridge or make a skeletal of what really I want to do, right? That's where we try and want to use a lot of social media and internal collaboration platforms where they can connect with other similar people in our organization who have a better understanding of the local infrastructure. Where do you want to stay, buy a PG? Where do you want to rent a house? What are the localities near the office? How do you commute? How does the lifestyle look like? What is the cost of living there? What is the recommended area? If I, as an HR head, want to talk to them, I cannot talk to them at that level, right? I don't understand their needs. And it has to be someone like them, a peer, who has to give them that confidence. So
Absolutely.
something that we do in our organization is called B2B connects or buddy to buddy connects, where we ensure that such people are connected with similar people in our organization who are new, joined with us for last 6 months, 1 year. Let them share challenges, let them share solutions, let them share opportunities, and be honest about it, right? Because
Absolutely.
to
Very good.
foster a two-way open communication is what really want to do. And to add on to it, I was talking to Praveen from Skills Connect the other day, and we said that why not help these people out also from the other end and connect it from a perspective where they can have some kind of digital infrastructure to fill these gaps, where they can
Yes.
look at how the corporate culture is going to be, what are the rent rates in those areas, or what are other technology elements that we can use to ensure that they feel comfortable. So
Yeah.
I think that is one perspective, and I would encourage a lot of students are watching us here or listening to us here and bring up with any questions where we can help them out with. And it also is food for our thought, and we can do better to ensure that we are bridging those small gaps.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Ritesh. I mean, I think it's a collaborative approach. Everybody will have to join hands and get it done. Absolutely. So, Sumit, you did start this entire thing by saying that okay, it's not only the academic knowledge that is important, but there is something more that people have to look at. It need not be communication in an official language like English or something like that. But what is that? So maybe, and there are a few questions also that have been asked around it. So you might want to spend another 2, 3 minutes on this thing and explain to us what you actually look at when you want to grow these people and do this. That'll be wonderful.
Sure, Nilkantan. Thank you for that opportunity, actually. Uh, so, yeah, I never thought that it would trigger such a long conversation, though. But yes, factually, if you were to look at the way that Ritesh also explained, there are a lot of factors around which we have to consider when we are hiring somebody from a smaller city. There has to be an entire ecosystem which needs to be built around. skills.
Mm.
What we focus on is possibly on the skill sets and probably looking at the attitude of the people. At the end of the day, the old adage of hire for attitude and train them for skills still applies. A lot of this knowledge that people get in their while in their education need to be translated into skills by training them on the job. However, what we need to really look at is the attitude that the person brings in. But when we look at that also, it is important that we build an ecosystem around around the people that we are hiring. At the end of the day, we are a people function representative, right? So
Yeah.
we are the ones who are supposed to take care of their requirements, their needs, and more from the perspective of ensuring that they assimilate within the organization. They are able to absorb what is being given to them, and that the fact that they are also able to succeed. It is about setting them up for success rather than setting them up for failure. And in something which Ritesh has pointed out, I have found in a few organizations that I have worked with, this is a kind of a structure which has been built around it, where we have created buddy systems for people who are joining in. The engagement starts about a month before the person actually comes on board, and then while the person is there, and the next 6 months, when the person is in the system, there is a handholding process which is followed. The role of the buddy is very well defined in these organizations. It is not just something that we assign somebody as a buddy and the buddy forgets about it. So it doesn't work.
Absolutely.
Doesn't really work like that. There are accountabilities built in. There are responsibilities assigned, and it is in one of the organizations I have worked with. It was part of the KPI of the person, which really affected the way that the person really approached this entire matter. So I think
Absolutely.
it's all about building that ecosystem around it to ensure that people are able to deliver in the way that we want them to.
Very good. Thank you. That summarizes what we were discussing in a short while. Actually, Mr. Ramchandar and Ms. Shilpa did mention, you know, the kind of ROIs that they're looking at. And there was a question also raised there and talking about what are the ROIs? Basically, looking at the attrition. Yeah, looking at
One thing is you are actually going to have a lot of diversity, equity you are going to bring to the organization. That's one
correct.
of the
So,
key things. That's a very,
absolutely.
very important because
And what Shilpa
uh,
also,
the
what,
lot,
please go
yeah.
ahead, please go ahead.
Second is retention and the cost optimization. First is DEIB and innovation, a lot of innovation because people come from the various geographies. They try to become cross culture and they respect and your organization innovation capability will go up. That's what I feel and I experienced in most of the companies because throughout my career I worked where most of the times those projects are actually social impact projects. When I've
Yes.
seen my talent, they're actually not only just impacting themselves by taking the salary, they are impacting the nation, country, and also bringing a lot of change to the into the infrastructure and social impact.
Yeah,
So this talent is definitely from smaller city is going to give minimum 5x to 10x in the over a period. This is what I feel.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, you
Thank
said
you.
it right. Actually, it is that is where the talent is, and that is where, I mean, somehow the exposure to the students, exposure to the corporates, everything has to be built in. And with that, I would like Tushar to quickly share what this platform that we're talking about, because that will also help in building an ecosystem that we're looking at and trying doing it. So, is Tushar, are you ready? Please go ahead and do that. Let's see how quickly Skills Connect can add value to this entire proposition. Please, yeah. Tushar, play. The volume is not there, Tushar.
Tushar, you know,
Volume.
Yeah, we have a problem with the volume, it seems, Tushar.
Okay.
But if you want to
Okay.
discontinue, we can just do it.
So let's say this. Okay, let me put it this way. The technology solution is there. We are there to help technologically organizations and the colleges. We are also having eminent panel people who are there right now. We can ask them to come and share their experiences, train people, do that. We can always do that. So we can bring in both the rich experience and the wisdom to help colleges come up with ways of looking at how do they develop their own students and make them jobs ready. So skillsconnect.in is the website that you can go to. And is it working now? Please go ahead.
Welcome to Skills Connect, your campus hiring platform. Hire candidates from 10,000 plus colleges with 1,000 plus cities across India. Skills Connect helps you to hire freshers, summer interns, interns for life project from IIT, IIM to C and D category campuses across the country. Hire candidates with MBA, engineering, IT developers, graduates, and postgraduates across skill sets. No more worries about creating a database of colleges, sending multiple emails, traditional Excel management of candidates, scheduling manual interviews and group discussions. From a single hiring to 1,000 plus hiring, from startups, SMEs to large corporations, our platform has solution for all. Skills Connect helps you with hyperlocal hiring, which provides hiring at speed and scale. Save cost and time. Schedule interview and assessment and gender, college, city diversity. Sign up now, register your company, and discover the power of our digital campus hiring platform.
Yeah. Thank you, Tushar. Thank you so much for that quick thing. So while we are there, this is an engagement platform which will bring the corporates, colleges, and the candidates together, and we can ensure that all kinds of skill sets that are required can be transferred to the students. And like what Mr. Sumit said, like what Mr. Ramchandra said, and like everyone, Shilpa, Shashikala, and Ritesh, all of us shared this particular point of view, saying that how do we develop the talent pool at the college level, at the grassroots level? And what we see is tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities are growing, and very many colleges, institutes are coming up there, and students are willing to take up challenges, willing to take up, they have the right mindset, they have the right attitude, maybe a few nudge here and there, like what Mr. Ramchandra also already has done along with his people, what Sumit talked about, the wisdom. I think we'll be able to bring the entire thing together and say that we are here to contribute to the nation's development. That's what we're looking at in a big. So, with that, Mr. Sunil, do we have any questions or anything which has come up on the thing? I think we have addressed most of them. If there are anything addressed to any particular person, you may want to.
Thanks, Neil sir. I think we have too many questions today. I think this has been a super exciting webinar, what we had, and a very huge and rich experience panel. Okay, and I think I must say the story which Shilpa madam just mentioned about is that everybody in the group is super excited to hear more about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll start with some of the questions which we have it on the chat box. Okay. And some of them, if they are already answered, I may skip. Okay. And I'll just take one by one.
But what I would suggest, Mr. Sunil, for the benefit of time, we can just send them all a quick WhatsApp message addressed to the concerned panel member. They may want to write that. We can write back to the individual people if that is okay with you.
Certainly. I'm just taking only the key questions.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Please.
So
please.
Okay, I'll just take few of them, and rest of them we will address it and send it back directly to the people who have asked it. Okay, this question is coming to you, Shilpa madam. Okay, I think you are the celebration of the webinar today. How the kind of ROI? Okay, you mentioned about the ROI matrix, and if you can elaborate a little more on that, I think that is what everybody would like to hear. You are on
Sorry.
mute.
Okay,
Oh
just
yeah,
to
yeah. Yeah, sorry. So when I talk about ROI, so when you work in an when you work in IT organization, so when we hire these people from tier two, tier three colleges, and we put them into an extensive training. So in that extensive training and this, yeah, so we created actually the Oracle Center of Excellence in Tirunelveli. And yeah, so I also take a great pride that from the tier one cities where people are not able to get the certification of OCI, there are from 40 people, 19 people were able to complete this OCI certification in the first attempt. So that was one of our biggest achievement. So and getting the people with OCI certified in the market was very difficult for us, and due to which where we were able to pitch a better project in UAE, and we won that project. And this so what so so what the resources that we would have gone out in the market, and probably we would have spent, a very high cost in getting the resources, so which we were able to manage it. But of course we also rewarded them for, we got a better billability. So today if you actually go to see, I mean, the kind of the operating cost and all of that we have spent in building the region, today we are at 12% more on our gross margins in terms of so where it was negative, today we are into a positive. So that is where
absolute.
the actual
That's
ROI we are able to win
yeah.
for this particular center.
In addition, there could be other ROIs like what other speakers said in terms of diversity ratio,
Oh
in terms
yes.
of retention ratios,
Oh
in terms
yes.
of
Yeah, so the
in
retention, yeah, so we were, yeah, so we just had like 1% attrition in the region, that too because so we had a better diversity in terms of
absolutely.
females, because female never, yeah, they would never like to go and change the city, so they were more, so in terms of, like, the diversity, then in terms of attrition, our attritions were very very low. I mean, that's like 1% is like, and thirdly, like in tier one cities, how we give the bond, which is more of a deterrent. We said the only way to bond with them is the real term bonding. So it's like every, yeah, so every achievement we celebrated.
Okay.
And I think, yeah, yeah. And now just to add more about it, like today, I mean, going to this tier two, tier three cities, it also gives an opportunity to introduce our curriculum in the colleges. So that has brought,
You
our
can actually
ratio.
moderate the kind of the academic courses depending on what the corporates
Absolutely,
require.
absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
nice. So
Thanks, Shilpa madam. Okay, I'll just take a couple of questions before we conclude, Neil sir. Okay, what this question is coming from Rutuja. Maybe Ritesh, you can just take this up. How can virtual events, webinars, and online career fairs by utilizing to connect with students in smaller cities?
Sure. So, thanks, Rutuja, for asking that question. Uh, see, there is an ecosystem already that I think corporates have built, where we are trying to look at multiple engagement strategies where we can get students and candidates on such platforms to be able to, drive and see if we are able to hire the right candidate there. For example, we would love to gamify the whole experience for people at some point in time, right? So creating hackathons, coding competitions, and peer sharing competitions driven with a goal or a purpose also helps people understand that what kind of work that they are in for, what kind of culture that they are in for, and what kind of areas that they should look out for. So merely just running a online drive or a recruitment drive will fetch you a lot of heads. But if you really want to be able to hire your potential employees, you need to be able to strike the right balance between their needs and your needs and be able to engage them and be able to very clearly offer what is online for them, right? So ensuring that you are doing that. That is one. And nowadays you also have a lot of flavor of AI to be able to help you do that, help you screen, help you to be able to take the experience to the next level from the online or the traditional online assessment tools and things that are coming in. So uh, I think we are heading at a very fast pace there. It wouldn't be very surprising that 80% of the recruitment in future is reliant on online tools and online recruitment drives.
Yeah, that's
Ritesh,
definitely
I'll
true.
just have I'll just add one question here, Ritesh,
Sure.
and more to everybody in the panel as well. Hackathons and a couple of assessment tools which you mentioned uh, cater to a certain skill sets, beyond which there are multiple skill sets inside the organization. When I say that, I would mean finance, there are support functions, there's a legal and multiple things. How can that talent be identified using the digital tools, and what kind of tools are available according to anybody who would want to speak, because we've got people from different sector.
Sure.
So
I
this
mean,
is
if anybody wants to take
So
a
whom
shot
are
at it,
you?
otherwise I
Okay,
can go on.
okay. Whom
yeah,
are you addressing it to? If you could say that, that will be
yeah.
helpful, and then others can chip in.
Ritesh, maybe Ritesh, because you touched upon it, and maybe I think Sumit, you come from a very different sector as well, and you do a lot of volumes.
Actually, Mr. Ramchandar had a point of view. He wanted to say something, so that he may also include it. Yeah.
See, as you said, not only just support function. For example, I required customer associates and maybe insurance selling agents and all those things. You need to do a lot of interactive assessment because that required both the digital and as well as offline platforms also. But digital is going to help first. That is going to it's going to disrupt the entire HR space itself because what is happening today is most of the times people from the IITs and IIMs they are getting the advantage because they are called so-called intellectual of the entire country. I'm not denying the fact, but today IIT Mumbai also didn't get the 36 percentage of people they did not got placement because of the various reasons. So what you need to is you need to have a lot of personal touch. So HR required not only high tech, a platform like Skill Connect really helps to reach the talent and try to take the talents from not just from one college, try to diversify that is into many schools and colleges where you are looking like Shilpa was selling Tirunelveli, the Tirunelveli experience because when you know that people who are ready to hard work and they want to be productive, they want to driven the results, those kind of people required for more the corporate rather than just IQ. So you need to check a lot of platform in Skill Connect also if you develop a process to check the EQs, emotional quotient, a lot of behavioral competencies also. If you gamify and if you do that, most of the problems will be resolved. And
Yeah,
HR, finance, legal, those areas also need to be assessed properly, and that need to be there in the skill connect. That's what I feel.
Thanks, Ramchandra sir. Okay. We take on to the next question. Sumit, you can address this one. Okay, this is coming from Akash. Can smart HRMS help us in the recruitment process for candidates from smaller cities? Do you want to share your experience on this, Sumit?
Sure. I'll do that one. So, can smart HRMs help us? The answer is yes. The whole objective of having a smart software is for it to be able to give you the kind of support that you require to do it. Now, when you look at a smart HRMS, so there are various solutions which are available in the market. But what one needs to look at is which is the solution which is giving you an end-to-end solution, which means from sourcing to right up to the uh, employee alumni experience. That is the kind of end-to-end experience that I'm talking about. Uh, Sourcing is not just about doing interviews or doing assessments. It has also got to do with a lot of engagement with candidates, which is one area where a lot of corporates struggle. given volume hiring, given the kind of niche hiring which might be done, given the demand which is there in the market for a particular skill set, having a tool or a kind of a software which is in place which can actually engage with the candidates also would definitely be a major advantage. I think there are solutions which are available in the market which can be looked at for this, and a lot of organizations have developed in-house, also worked with partners who have customized or developed softwares with for the organizations in order to be able to cater to these needs.
Yeah, actually, Sumit, I think I
Yes.
need to add here because while we have a lot of HRMS to do this, uh, as we rightly saw that video also of Mr. I mean, what we displayed a few minutes ago, you know, many softwares are looking at the HR operations, transactions, and kind of stuff. Now that is something that we taught Ranu, and we have built a process where we say, okay, let's look at developing talent there and also having this corporate connect. So dedicated software or platform to this entire concept of campus connect is through skillsconnect.in. While I'm advertising about it, but that is the intent of ensuring that we have this entire thing lined up and reached out to a lot of colleges and ensure that they're all part of it. While you see, if you
Uh,
go to our LinkedIn page, if you go to our Facebook page, I think we have a lot of these advertisements being placed for jobs here and there. We are also going to start looking at how do we associate with these colleges, campuses through you guys to ensure that we build up these people's capabilities and skills and kind of stuff. That will be very, very helpful. I think I think we are at 12:10. Sunilji, should we end the
Uh,
session now?
I'll just
I
also
have I
add,
have one.
sir.
I was just about to say I have just one last question for Shashikala, and then it's all over to you, Neil sir. You can wind up. Shashikala,
So,
this question is coming from Dr.
Vicky sir.
Prasad. Uh,
yeah, Sunil, just wanted to add
we have been.
since. Sorry,
Sorry, Vicky.
I'm interrupting.
Yeah,
I just wanted to
please.
add, it was very well, said by Sumit of, end-to-end systems with engagement as one of the key areas, which is something, honestly speaking, I have personally seen since we are actually catering to, more than 300,000 people on our HRMS platform at Unova, and I have seen this, practically there. Most of the people are actually doing operational stuff, but HR is going more and more strategic. It also needs to touch upon the talent engagement piece, which is not only just internal talent engagement, even with the candidates. I have seen at a few organizations where just a very simple, T plus one, T plus five, T plus three, T plus 10 kind of, frequency emailers to candidates have resulted in almost more than 200% efficiency in their offer to joining ratio. So that is the power of talent engagement, even before, not only just your internal talent, but also your candidates. That seriously just through an email, which also the system is sending. That is what I would call a smarter system. But yeah, very well touched upon by Sumit and Nilkantan sir as well. You are it. I just thought I should add
Sure. Thanks.
in the flow. But yeah, Sunilji, please
Thank
continue.
you. Yeah. You said the
No,
last
I think it
question.
was a very
Yeah.
valid point, Vicky. I think it was a very valid point and truly touched upon. This question is for you, Shashikala, and that's the last question for the panelists right now. We have been observing important fact coming from Dr. Prasad. The rural student in colleges are good in conceptual knowledge, but not that much able to communicate. Do we have on their presentation skill, etc.? So, is there anything you want to share your valuable inputs in terms of rural job seekers here?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks for that question again. See, if given a chance, I would like to go and conduct a concept like finishing school or university edge program. I'm sure Skills Connect can be a part in such programs because they have large pool of database. See, now since we realize that they are good with technical skills, bit of soft skills, right? Where the industry readiness is not there. That's a gap. We see that as a HR leaders in the IT space, we don't see that readiness from the students, even if we pick or hand pick the students from the campuses, right? What I would like to suggest here, and I'm open to discuss with other leaders, maybe post this session as well, something like a finishing school, all right, university education, whatever name that we give, where we bring all these soft skills, right? Your presentation skills, your emotional intelligence, your communication skills, especially where the students can demonstrate the capabilities, right? That's a gap. So if that can be addressed, take a short-term course, bring them that readiness so that they can face the interviews, they can come on and start supporting the projects right from the first month itself. I think this is a small gap that we have discussed in all the HR forums in the last couple of months where I was a speaker. Everyone vouched for this. Everyone has told that, yeah, this is a gap. How can we address? I'm also looking forward for great ideas around this. But for students community, yes, there are digital tools today. Everywhere there is information available. Ask for help, right? Unless you ask, people will not come. There are a lot of mentors, coaches available like us. Reach out to them, ask for help. We will be happy to assist you, or we'll be able to connect you with the right person. Don't hesitate on this. This is my advice to the students here. There are a lot of collaboration that can be done. We can connect you to the great mentors. I think that is something which you all should, student community should leverage upon, and we will see how we can take it to the next level. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Shashikala. I think we are running out of time, and we are almost
Can I
12:15.
just bring up one point?
I hand it over to Neelkantan to wind this up and conclude.
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Mr. Ramchandra, you were saying something quickly, maybe, and
Yeah,
then we
yeah.
can.
I just want to add one more is very important is, yes, definitely technical or functional skills is very important. Second is behavioral soft skills is very important. But more than this, most of the people they don't focus at all is the domains.
Yeah.
More technical this one. These are the industries and domains which we don't focus. And skill connect and also industries, each industry looks for different skill set, different mindset. Example,
Yes.
BFI require different mindset and skill set, and retail is different mindset, and insurance or maybe the banks, every industry, manufacturing and electronics industry, and IT, every required is a different domains. So we need to even educate the students from the since college only the domains, because a lot of people say that, okay, after 30, 20 years I realized that this is not there my heart in IT. I'm now going to agriculture, I'm now going to XYZ. So where passion meets the skill, the actually the people will grow, or they will actually become more entrepreneurs, and their growth also in fast. It will happen more fast manner. So what I'm saying is the domains also very important to people to focus. And I
Absolutely.
request Skill
So,
Connect. Yeah, that's one thing.
absolutely.
Nobody's speaking. That's why I got it. Thank
I
you.
think you mentioned it right, and also Sumit did mention it, and all of you are otherwise also speaking about it. It is not only the knowledge and the skill that is important, but also the attitude and the kind
Yes.
of mindset and the cultural integration that can happen. And I think this is a session which we can go on and on. Just to give you a last word, is the Skills Connect is skillsconnect.in, through which we are doing this session, along with Acura Solutions, is here to help build this gap, bring everybody into this ecosystem and develop the ecosystem. And I think over a period of time, we will have many more offerings to give, and we will surely try and engage with each one of you. As at least the expertise that we have with the panel members here, of course, that's going to be leveraged. We are going to look at that and maybe build up our relationships more with the campuses and the candidates together. So thank you so much for the wonderful discussion, thought-provoking discussions, many trigger points, many nudges, many things that you have given us practical exposure to what we are doing. And that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, skills, and the wisdom that is required to be able to get this entire thing up and running. So thank you so much. And we wish all the colleges, all the students are very best and the new academic year. And thank you so much for hosting this session. And wonderful being here with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank
Neelkantan, for
you.
I think
everything.
very well
Thank you all.
facilitated. So thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody.
Thank you,
Have a
everyone.
great
Have a
weekend.
nice weekend.
Glad to be here. Have a nice weekend to everyone.